if I was an American citizen, I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton if you paid me. In fact, I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton if she paid me. Folks, the message is clear. The parallels are there. There are millions of ordinary Americans who've been let down, who feel so many of their representatives are politically correct parts of that liberal media elite. They feel people aren't standing up for them, and they've actually, in many cases, given up on the whole electoral process.
There you have it. That was Nigel Farage last night. He joins us now from Jackson, Mississippi. Nigel, I am told that the crowd didn't know who you were last night in Mississippi, but by the time you'd finished speaking, they loved you. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know. It may well be that there are lots of people that turned up at that rally last night that perhaps haven't studied Brexit very much. They've heard of it, but they haven't perhaps studied it. But the lessons, the parallels are clear. You know, what we did in the UK on the 23rd of June was to strike the first really big blow against the professional political class working hand in glove with the giant multinationals and the big Wall Street banks. And I think, you know, hopefully I explained that yesterday.
Look, but they're all against you. I mean, the establishment was lined up en masse without breaking any ranks at all. They were all opposed to you. And I'm told that on the morning of the vote to leave was down in the polls, substantially down in the polls, and yet you pulled off a remarkable victory. Is that accurate? You were down in the polls the morning of the vote?
The morning of the vote was quite remarkable. There was an opinion poll issued by what was a reputable polling company showing the Remain side 10 points in the lead. And I genuinely think that what went on at the end of that campaign was a deliberate media and establishment attempt to say to voters, look, Brexit isn't going to win, so why bother to go out to vote for it? And what I was saying to Trump supporters last night is, whatever gets said in the next 73 days in this campaign, you know, even if they tell you that McDonnell can't win, don't believe them, because what we saw was a deliberate attempt to fiddle the figures. Luckily, we ignored it and we beat them.
Now, President Obama went to Britain before the Brexit vote, and he said, you got to stay. I understand that that was very resented by British people who didn't like an American politician telling them how to vote. Well, couldn't you say the same thing about you? You come to America and you've told American voters, don't vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, you could say there's a parallel there, and that what you said last night could be resented in some quarters in America.
Well, Obama said we should vote Remain. Obama said that terrible things would happen to us if we didn't vote Remain. And he told us that if we voted to leave, that basically America would just drop us and our relationship with the United States of America. I didn't tell anyone how to vote. I wouldn't dare do such a thing. I did suggest, though, that if I was an American citizen, I wouldn't vote for Hillary, because nothing is going to change if that woman wins. She represents that big corporate media club, you know, that have had their own way over the last 20 or 30 years, that have led us into an endless series of wars and led us into a world where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So I personally wouldn't vote for Hillary, but no, I'm not telling people how they should vote.
Would you did not directly endorse Donald Trump last night. Why not?
Because I criticised Obama for telling us how we should vote. And I'm not going to fall into that same trap myself. But I don't think it's very difficult to read between the lines of what I was saying last night.
Now, we were told that if the Brits voted to leave Europe, the Brexit, if it was a successful vote, the whole country would fall to pieces. It would be a catastrophe. The stock market would plunge. The economy would go into recession, depression. Bring us up to speed, please. The vote was June the 23rd. It's now 2 months later. What's happened in those 2 months in Britain?
Well, what has happened is the FTSE 100 index, our main share index, has gone through the roof. It is over 25% higher than it was in February this year. We had the largest house building company, who we were told would virtually go bankrupt if we voted Brexit, reported their figures just this week with record orders on their books. We've even seen Standard & Poor's and Moody's completely revise their growth prospects for Britain over the next 2 or 3 years. And we now see that the British economy, whilst it's not perfect, but is forecast to do better than France and Germany and the rest of the European Union. And frankly, what we were sold was a complete pack of scaremongering lies. It was called Project Fear. And I said to the audience last night, you will hear the same thing. You will hear, if Trump wins, we'll play into the hands of President Putin, we'll bring the world closer to war, and there'll be terrible economic ruin come to America. We were promised all the same things, and I'm pleased to say that none of them have happened. And now what we have, all over the world, our country is saying, well, now you're freed of this ridiculous European club. Can we come and talk to you? Can we be friends again? And I think that really matters. And I very much hope, because, I've always been a huge fan of the USA, I very much hope that we can resume our proper, special relationship as partners and friends now that we're going to be free again.
A lot of people in America love you. Why don't you stay? Get a green card. Stay. You want to?
Well, well, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been here forever.
Yes.
But look, I worked for an American company in the 1980s and 90s, so I've travelled, the length and breadth of this country on business, as I like to say, when I had a proper job. And I'm now doing a bit of it in politics. All I can say is that over the course of the next few weeks, I will be back.
Good. Nigel Farage, come back and see us again, please. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, Nigel.